That's Craig and Keith and that whole gang down there. If you're going to do any kind of car dealing this time of the year or any time of the year, go ahead and sell the car. If you have a car right now that needs to be sold or traded in, let them handle it at Birmingham Broker. They're just the pros at this stuff, and I trust them implicitly, and I know that in my own life experience, they have saved me thousands. I wish I could add it all up. I guarantee you it's at least $10,000 of car trades where if I had gone and traded it in and gotten a wholesale price, I would be $10,000 light in my pockets with different trades over the years. And that's a ballpark. It's also the ease and convenience of it. Not only do you do better on the deal, there's the fact that they do it all, that they handle everything for you. And that starts with getting the vehicle ready. You got to prep the vehicle. They've got professionals that can service it and take care of that and get that all taken care of. And then everything that flows from there. Sometimes you've also got to get it marketed. And then once you find a buyer, well, you got to settle on a price, and they'll help you determine that and get that established so that it's a real price that's going to probably fetch you more money. You can also set your bottom line. And then, of course, they're going to find that buyer, haggle with that buyer, then do all the paperwork, transact the deal. That's the stuff I hate doing. I'm always afraid I'm going to mess something up on it and have to redo the paperwork. And it's just good to, you get more money. You don't have any of the sweat. These are great guys. You'll do all your car deals with them going forward once you ever use them once. It is Birmingham Broker. They're downtown Birmingham, 4th Avenue South, bhambroker.com, bhambroker.com. Boy, do we have things going on in the news today. Let me kind of reset for the 4 o'clock crowd, because here it comes with everybody getting in here this afternoon. This thing in Minnesota has completely hijacked the news, and for good reason, because this could be a flashpoint type story. In fact, there's audio. AJ, I'm going to take a chance on playing some audio here. I just saw a clip come down a second ago that may be, well, let me explain what happened for folks that are just getting caught up, and then I'll play that for you. So we had an incident where a federal officer, an ICE officer, shot a woman who was driving an SUV who tried to run over the officer. It was after the ICE agents had been surrounded by these protesters. They blocked the street, started assaulting and insulting the officers. This woman who had been blocking the street, I don't know if the ICE was going to arrest her for doing that, but they had approached her vehicle, and she tried to run over an officer, actually hit him with the corner of her car. He fired one shot through the windshield, hit her in the gourd, and she is done. She's wherever she is in her afterlife. And it was her decision to do that. It was her decision to go down there in the first place. These people have driven themselves mad with emotion over this entire issue, inflamed by idiotic governors like Tim Walz and that mayor in Minneapolis, who immediately seized on the shooting. And the backstory, as far as my TikTok on the day, it goes this way. This first piece of video comes out, and it's the only thing most of the news cycle had to work with, and it was from the rear of that car, and you couldn't see the agent that was being targeted by the car or made the shot. All you could see were two other agents off to the side. The presumption on the part of these bedwetters was that the agent had just pulled his gun and shot her through an open window because she wouldn't stop the car, and he wasn't in front of the car in any kind of danger, and that the self-defense excuse was illegitimate. So Mayor Jacob Frey took his little bony chest and stuck it out today and started being sanctimonious and indicting the officer, telling the ICE to get the F out of his city, and being a total tool politician about it without having the full benefit of the facts. So before he could wipe the latte mustache off his face when that news conference was over, more video came out. And it was from the other side of the car, where you can see there's an agent in front of the vehicle. You can see the vehicle strike the agent in the hip. You can see the agent. It's a little blurry, but he fires a shot at that point. Then, of course, there's a photograph where the woman was shot right through the front windshield. The agent had to be in front of her to make that shot, and that's what killed her. And then the car, of course, sped off. After she got capped, she gunned it, slammed into the back of another vehicle, and careened over into some snow. Very snowy day in Minneapolis. Well, that led to instant chaos until you had a riot-like atmosphere that got gas poured on it once she was shot. Then you got these cheap politicians in Minneapolis coming out spewing all kind of hate-filled stuff, cloaked in peace and love, by the way. On one hand, they want to piss people off about what happened and vilify ICE. On the other hand, they're calling for their own citizens not to burn down Minneapolis tonight, which is within the realm of possibility this evening. Trump has come out with a full-throated support of the ICE agents, as he should. These guys are doing the job this country asked them to do. These are law enforcement officers. You cannot block them in. You cannot stop them from doing their jobs. You cannot hit them with stuff, and you cannot run over them with your car. In case some of y'all didn't know that, there's some pro tips from the Leland Live show. You might get capped. This lady did. She had it coming. I don't know anything about her background. She is an American citizen, so she wasn't an illegal trying to escape arrest. She was just one of these bedwetting protesters who have nothing in their lives to cling to but their own sad emotions over these issues. They get out in the cold snow and go try to confront armed agents that are doing their jobs. And this is what happens. And this is what the officials in that city wanted to happen. They're trying to say Trump wants this chaos. Trump wants to get the illegals out of the country. He's keeping score. We're doing this all over the country. You're only seeing these confrontations where you've got left-wing mayors that run the cities that are holding their police back and allowing these agents to get exposed to danger. You're not seeing that in Alabama. You're not seeing it in Oklahoma. You're not seeing it in Texas. There are deportations every day in those states. There's stuff going on nationwide. The only cities where you see these confrontations are cities that declared themselves sanctuary and have told their police officers not to assist. That's part of the storytelling today as well, because there wasn't a single Minnesota Police Department officer on that scene, despite repeated 911 calls about the agents being surrounded. Nobody came to the rescue that we know of. I've looked at the videos all afternoon, and all the law enforcement agents are saying the same thing. Now, eventually you see a Minneapolis PD have to show up and play cleanup at the end, and as everybody exfiltrated from this neighborhood, there was some stuff being thrown at all the cops that were involved. So the crowds have continued to build. The police presence is going up. You got helicopters in the sky. The governor has put everybody on red alert. He's got their emergency center activated. They know they have to, because they've stoked their own ignorant citizens into believing this is somehow some confrontational issue with the feds. I think Walz, according to stuff I've been reading today, I've been trying to do a radio show, so I haven't been able to see everything. But I believe Walz also made some comments about he's willing to call up the National Guard to fight with the feds over this issue, to confront the feds over this issue. How very George Wallace. Yeah, we did the same thing in this state. The state of Alabama at one point decided it was beyond federal law when it came to the civil rights of people. And y'all know how that played out. These people know no hypocrisy. 1 minute, the people on the left are marching about no kings. Oh, that was their theme. We don't believe in dictators and kings. This week, they're defending a dictator, an unelected dictator, Maduro, and his ability to stay sovereign in his own little country and continue to harm people and do what he does in the world. They're defending that. And turning off a bunch of Venezuelan nationals and Cubans at the same time. I mean, every single issue, they're on all sides of it. Whatever benefits them and whatever stokes their anti-sort of Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-whatever they are, anti-white, anti-capitalist, anti-everything, they just get up every day and say, I'm anti. They had to take the Ukrainian flag off their off their Facebook pages, and then they put up the Palestinian flag for a while. They were all about the Palestinians. Then they just keep changing their belief system. If you're one of these bedwetters that live on Southside and run around in your Subaru, boy, I don't know, do you use WD-40 to change out your bumper stickers, or do you just put the new one over the old one and forget that was your cause last week because you got a new cause worth dying for? This lady decided it was worth dying for, and she's dead. And it was a good shoot, and this officer is completely in the right to protect himself. And they're going to vilify this man. He's going to have to go into hiding. Again, I'll point out, as the internet, so to speak, social media is pointing out today, if Elon Musk had not bought Twitter and we did not, in a real-time environment, have the ability to get the truth out before these narratives from these people could take hold, they would still be able to play that game. They've done it my whole life. They'll cherry pick facts and stoke emotion because they're an emotionally driven people. They're not fact-driven people. They don't have facts on their side. And that's why you'll hear them call into the show every now and then. They'll spew a couple of things they think are facts. And then when challenged on the facts, they start talking real fast, not wanting to be questioned about anything, then they hang up. They've done it for years to talk shows like this all over the country. They can't deal in facts and history and law and economics and science and math, but they can deal in false rhetoric and cheap headlines and 2 pieces of information when there are 30 pieces of information. And that's exactly what that mayor did today. And he made here's a guy who's already a buffoon on the national stage, and he got more buffoonish right in front of all of us this afternoon. That little news conference aged like bad milk. So there's some kind of pushing and shoving going on in downtown Minneapolis as these anti-fob, anti-social, anti-everything types want to try to use this issue to cause trouble tonight. Here's a little bit of sound on that. AJ, this may have some F words in it. I hope not. If it does, you dump me, and I hadn't had a chance to totally preview it, and we'll keep on going. So there are these, this one's still got his Palestinian thing on. I know it's cold, but he's still touting that cause too. They're trying to get into some building with a revolving door. I don't know what this building is. Let me see if I can read. As a federal courthouse. They're trying to get into a federal courthouse, and they're chanting ICE out now. Trump should announce tonight, he should go on national television tonight and announce 50,000 ICE agents. Do we even have that many? He should recall them from everywhere else in the country. I'll go ahead and fade that down. He should recall ICE from every corner of this country, send every single one of them to Minneapolis right now, and everybody else that could enforce federal law. They should make sure that ICE stays in that city. If we're not in another city, and look, we haven't even touched on them raping the citizens of this country and the citizens of Minnesota, with some of these immigrants and these fake schemes to the billions of dollars. There were hearings on the Hill today about it. There is no excuse that they can make. There's all kind of shuffling going on, and they'd love to get cover from that story by putting this story forward, but they're the same story. These evil, idiotic people that are running that state have driven it to this point. This is their fault, 100%. What the rest of us are trying to do is get this mess cleaned up so we can go back to being a proper country. They should surge every asset. They should drop every dollar that is coming from the federal government and surge every resource they can into that city and secure that city. And I think what they're worried about is if their own citizens start setting things on fire and there becomes a security apparatus where it's out of control, Trump's not going to let that get played out like he allowed in 2020. I think he'll, within federal law, be able to deploy more assets to get a better hold on that place. It's just a little tiny city being run by incompetent people. It shouldn't be too hard to handle it. Meantime, I love a good fire and a tasing and some pepper bowling, and when left-wingers lose their minds on national television at night. So get the popcorn. There should be a lot of that video this evening. It could be fun. Man, what a day. 545-9950 is the phone number. If you want to get on the radio show, we'll put you on the air. Monster Liner also bringing you the show tonight. MONSTALINER, MonstaLiner.com. Y'all, these folks are they've got a really cool product for you to be able to get a paint project done if you've got anything outside that needs painting. I have an old Jeep. I talk about it sometimes. I think about this Jeep when I do this spot because one day I want to fix it up. One day I just want to sell it. And it has a motor. It has a blown motor in it. And I'm like, that'd be a fun project. See if I could drop a motor in there. And the paint's okay, but every time I do this spot for Monster Liner, I think about that little blue Jeep. This product was designed for a project just like that. It's not worth a ton of money. A paint job might even cost more than the Jeep's worth. So this product allows people like me that are willing to take a chance to do it myself. It's a industrial grade paint product that allows me to be able to paint my own vehicle. How about that? You too. And it's not just vehicles. You might have an old off-roader or truck, but if you got a four-wheeler, if you've got any kind of thing that gets exposed to the elements, utility trailers, covered trailers, boat trailers, just regular open trailers. Sometimes you got to love on those things and keep them protected from rust and the elements. Why not do it in style with Monster Liner? You've got your choice of 60 some odd colors, and they're coming up with new colors all the time. And they ship you the whole kit. You do it with a roll-on. You do it with a roller, and they send you the pan, the roller, the instructions, It's a 2-coat process. About most all of us with no talent can at least roll paint on, and it really does look good. The before and after pictures are amazing. Y'all check it out. One of my favorite parts about them is it's made in Coleman, just right up the road in Coleman County. That's a good local business. They ship all over the country. This is an industrial paint supplier that decided to create a consumer product for the rest of us. It's Monstaliner, MONSTALINER, MonstaLiner.com. It's 425, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Let's go. Man, what an active news day we're having today. Allen and Company's over in Vestavia. Y'all have been talking about them for years. From time to time, you just need a jeweler. You need somebody you can count on to get it right, and that's the Thompson family. It's so nice. I'm a big believer in local businesses. That's why our show is just full of local businesses. I can't think of a single chain that's on the show, and I usually sort of turn that business away. And here's why. I can't develop a relationship. I can't pop in and see them and really talk to the owners and work with them in the way I want to be able to connect the audience with these folks. And then there's another factor. It's not just that they're local. These multi-generational businesses, and that's what you find at Allen, where you've got 2 generations, in some cases 3 generations under one roof. There's an extra commitment there when a whole family is involved in a business. And I love that. I think it's what built this country. Wish we could get back to more of that. And anytime I got a chance to point that out, I do. And that's the case at Allen and Company. Their whole family's in there. When you get to know them, you know the business, and then you'll want to work with them time and time again. No pressure, just total expertise and the right touch to help you sort through these things. Sometimes these are huge decisions, and you need to be able to think about it a little bit, or especially in the case of an engagement setting. Fellas, she may change her mind once or twice or 856 times, and that's okay at Allen and Company. They want her to be happy. Sometimes you want to sleep on it. You come back, no, I want to go this way. They're fine with that. They're totally patient with that. So as we get into engagement season, there's actually an engagement season in this country. See Allen and Company for all of those things. And fellas, as Valentine's Day is approaching, it might be time for that upgrade. She has put up with you for years. Maybe you've put up with her too, but it's time for y'all to upgrade that diamond. They can not only upgrade it and do it with care right there in their own shop, but also take that old diamond and repurpose it into something special too. You can have both. It's Allen and Company over in Vestavia, allenandcompany.com. Now we've got an identity. Let me go back to this Minneapolis story right now of the woman who allegedly was shot today by the police. I'm going to hold off on saying her name. I don't know. This is coming. The source on this is Disclosed TV, and I've seen them pop up in the feed before. I don't know who they are. White female, 37, and I guess a U.S. citizen, because I'm sitting here trying to read her bio. If the story on this is true, she's just typical liberal, got the flags in her promo. She got the gay flag in there. I don't know what her sexual orientation was. But there's a profile, there's a type that are being driven mad. I believe social media is a contributor to some of this stuff too. People get on these things, and some of y'all are guilty of getting sucked into this black hole as well. Just guard yourself. The less time you waste consuming. In a lot of ways, I don't have any choice but to, at least during the weekdays, over-consume some of the news that's out there. But you pick up on patterns, and we talked about this a little bit last night. Some of these people are driving themselves mad with politics and are acting on it, and this isn't the first incident. We saw, I mean, look, the Charlie Kirk murder, the school shootings that have popped up lately. There is a pattern of a mania and a neurosis that's affecting this country, and it makes things work. Look, when people are already crazy and you give them the opportunity to act violently on their crazy, you get days like we had today. And it's hard to, in some ways, sit here and just vilify a dead woman, but she made her choices. And I have very little sympathy for that. I hate to see death, but I've seen a lot of death. And she chose to put her life on the line over her deeply held convictions, and she'll be a martyr to some. She's an idiot to the rest of us, and Darwin's theory kind of played out today. All right, bottom of the hour, here we go. Your calls when we come back. If y'all want to load up the phone lines, we'll take some calls and questions. We still got Venezuela to deal with, and hearings on the Hill, and all kind of chaos going on in the news today outside of this incident, but it keeps giving us headlines, so we'll stay with it as long as we need to. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all stay tuned. It's 4:35, Leland Live. Here we go. Alabama Bass bringing you the show tonight. Man, that's just another wonderful multi-generation family over there running Alabama Bass. I used to kid Mike about how old he's getting. He was in there one day. I went in there recently, and he had a knee. He was kind of wobbling on his knee. I think I was doing the same thing. Old guys swap stories about that kind of stuff. But Mike, man, he has run an incredible business all these years, and his wife, Sandra, downstairs at the business, they do the big projects, the big bathroom blowouts and kitchen redos and those fancy projects. But there's an element to the store, and I call it their upstairs business, but that's their bath tub shower replacement systems. And there's one thing they do that I've not emphasized over the years. I was talking to John, and they also do these. I talk a lot about they'll replace your old bathtub and put you a safer stand-up shower, and that just adds. Y'all know the story by now if you've listened to the show. Just adds such safety and security to a home because it's slip proof and handles and it looks good and it's beautiful. And some people rather just get in there and knock it out. But some of y'all are soakers, and I get it. Some of y'all just flat like to get a good soak, but they will do tub for tub replacements as well. So it's kind of sounds obvious, but I haven't emphasized that as much over the years. So in other words, your tub just a little bit janky. He told me a funny story about one of their clients that called up. Hey, they had family over for Christmas. I don't think they mind me telling this. One of their customers had some family over for Christmas, and they didn't want to bathe I think it was one of their grandkids in the old janky tub. They showed me a before and after how that tub looked. Tile was pulling loose. There was mold underneath that bathtub. Sometimes it just ages out and you need to replace it. So if you want to keep your tub, but put in a newer model and get it done very efficiently with a wonderful business that knows everything about everything when it comes to this stuff, y'all reach out to alabamabass.com. We've got a fun promotion I think we're going to be able to pull together for a little bit later in the year. We're not ready to launch it yet. We've been talking about it. It's going to be fun for y'all. But yeah, let them make that place more beautiful and more convenient, whether you like to stand there or whether you like to sit there. It's Alabama Bass. They're over in Pelham. And if you want to see their models and see their build outs, just go to Pelham and they'll show you around. They're happy to show that off, but they'll come to you, and you're not going to get this corporate sales tactic pressure that some of these other companies will do to you. They're just not going to sweat you. You're not buying a timeshare. You're investing in your home, and they want it to be right. It's alabamabass.com. Not only that, their price is better, way better, and it's a better product. Just keep that in mind. alabamabass.com. All right, let's hit the phones. I keep scanning for headlines because there seem to be minute-to-minute developments. It looks like Minneapolis is poised. I don't know how many times I thought about this during the break. AJ and I haven't talked about it, but over 16 years of this show, how many times we've been on the air in the afternoon waiting on some city to devolve into riots. We used to almost take bets. Are they going to blow it up tonight or no? And you never know. I mean, sometimes the media will hype it. It looks teed up. You got people yelling at the cameras, and then it gets dark and it goes boom. And y'all have seen these fights at night and fires and cops and all this. But we don't know. It's cold. It's really cold in Minneapolis. And I know sometimes they get used to it, but it really gets cold at night. That kind of puts a damper on things. It also gives riders the ability to conceal themselves and weapons and projectiles a little bit more with the winter clothing. So I don't know how this is going to go. What we think we know is the size of the protest crowds are growing, and the cops seem to have completely retreated from the streets. Now, whether they're going to redeploy tacked out and ready to handle it or not, or whether they're going to bring the National Guard in or not, or whether the whole thing just fizzles or not, we'll just have to wait and see what we're talking about this time tomorrow. All right, here we go to the phones. Kyle is up next on a cell phone. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, what's up, Lewis? Yeah, the whole thing in Minneapolis, especially today, I mean, you could tell they were they were trying to make something like this happen to where now they can point the finger at Trump and say, look, this person's dead. If they weren't here, they'd still be alive, regardless of the fact that you tried to run over a federal agent, which, I mean, I think we all know that lesson. If you try to run over a federal agent, they will kill you. That's 101 right there. But I guess the real question is, how deep do you think this goes with the fraud? And, I mean, I probably know the answer to this, but how many other states do you think this is going on in?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can guess just based on the incompetence of the people running it and what my personal belief, Kyle, is these things don't happen in isolation. once somebody figure out, it's like looters. When a looter breaks the first window, everybody goes in. And so once either these folks that come here from other countries or indigenous Americans that scam the system or politicians that want to cut, once a model gets to working, just like any legitimate business, they want to scale that into something else. And I believe California, because of the size of the place, it's way bigger than Minnesota. And they've got the same dynamics going with an incompetent governor. Most of the people that live there are from other countries at this point in California, and they're seeing industry flee. And one way to keep making money is to scam the system and build the government. All indications are California is, once the scandals get vetted and audited there, we're going to see even more stuff. There was some stuff that broke this week about fake student loans and fake students, and even schools pretending to have students they didn't have. This thing could go all over the place. As far as the cap on Minnesota, this has been going on for years. It didn't just happen because Tim Walz got to be governor. Some people were doing this before he got there. But it's there, and it's been going on, some people believe, at least 10, 15 years. It just grew because the population from Somalia grew, and the scams grew with it. But I think it probably involves other people from other countries as well.
Well, and I mean, it's amazing because when you, like you said, when you think about it, if most people look and go, well, no wonder we're in debt. No wonder the country, we're having to spend trillions and trillions of dollars if these people are doing this and gaming the system. I guess for me, my only question is, we know we want justice. We want these people to be prosecuted, put in jail, or sent back to the country they came from. But I guess the realistic question is that even possible?
Well, it's an ongoing thing. In the long run, yeah, Trump's proving that it's more possible than we thought. I would not have imagined that we'd have the deportation. Tell me if I'm answering your question, Kyle. I think I'm answering it, but
right.
I wouldn't think we'd have the deportation numbers that we have now, because the voluntary deportations are stacking up. Some folks are seeing that the federal government means business on this issue now, and they don't want to sweat it. There's some incentives for them to leave and come back properly. I mean, if I were taking the chance, taking the risk of just one day I get rounded up and I can never come back, and I had a good place at home, my family's still there, that's my people in my country. But if I do things right and deport myself and then reapply and I've got a shot to come back, I think a reasonable person takes that shot. But if you're an MS-13 member, if you're in Tren de Aragua, if you're running the streets because you got a mission, if you're being sponsored by the Chinese, there's so many elements that are here. You got incentive to stay. I mean, because you're making money, or you're running, let's just say, Kyle, you and I start a quality leering center, and we want to leer some kids, and we're making millions of dollars. Why leave? Take the money while you can, and then if you get kicked out, you still got the money.
Well, no, that answers it perfectly, and that's why I have a feeling what's going to happen. And of course, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong more times than I'm right, but I have a feeling with Minneapolis, what they're going to do is the left now have found their rallying point. This is their George Floyd moment, where it's like, now we can all rally around this woman who died because she was trying to protect these immigrants from being, hauled away to the gulags or whatever and to be disappeared. Where I think that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work, because I think a lot of people, especially seeing the video, go, yeah, she was at fault. But I just have a feeling that's what they're going to try. I just don't know if it's going to succeed.
Yeah, we'll find out, though. It's playing out in real time right in front of us. It's one of the more amazing times I've seen in a long time in this country. It feels a little bit like 2020, but we have adults in charge right now, and we've already learned some lessons from all that. And ironically, this is, I mean, the irony does not escape that this is the city where all the George Floyd stuff blew up. I mean, it's the same ignorant people.
Oh, totally. And it's not to be funny, but they burned down Minneapolis. I was like, is there anything left for them really to burn now? I mean, I know it's been 6 years, but
if you're looking for the bright side in this, at least the governor's wife will be able to open her window and smell the flames and the smoke. Remember when she said she thought that would just felt like democracy when she could smell the burning tires? That was the turn the page lady at the convention. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. See you, buddy.
I know. It's crazy. Thanks, man.
Right. Turn the page. I thought about her when Walz did a news conference yesterday. He was trying to sound tough. He goes, I'm going to ride you like I've never ridden you. And I thought, ooh, Is he talking about turn the page lady or somebody in office? Because we don't know who that. All the media that analyzed that speech yesterday, they stood, and this is before all this crap happened today. They stood back. What's he talking? Who's he talking about riding? I think he was just threatening state employees because he's getting a lot of whistleblowers coming forward to rat out his corruption and his malfeasance, and he's trying to look tough. This dude's days are numbered. This could be the final thing. Now, I will give him this credit, and I know maybe they just got a chilly forecast in hell, but he did not come off as big a tool as the mayor did today. Now, he said a lot of typical left-wing stuff, but the mayor just ass-clowned himself in front of the whole country. In front of the whole country. He beclowned himself in front of the whole country today and was whipsawed. I mean, I don't know if he's even seen the extra video, but he just looked foolish. He was too direct and unequivocal about his assertions, and he was wrong. Hey, man, let's talk about your gutters. There's a lot going on right now. The weather. First, I think we're at the end of leaf season. I still got to go back through. I just blew it all off before Christmas, and now I still got leaves. They still trickle down certain times of the year. Now, my house is designed without gutters, and I kind of like that. It's a unique design where I don't need gutters for this particular foundation with the slope of the land. But most houses have them, and most of you, if they're not covered with a quality product, they're clogged right now after the leaf season, unless you've gotten on a ladder and cleaned them out or had somebody do it for you. That is a nasty job if you've ever done it. It's a dangerous job. I actually know at least 3 people in my life, 2 of which died from this cleaning their gutters and falling off a ladder. That is true. One guy wound up in serious condition. You don't want to be fooling around with that. You don't want to be having to pay people every single year to do it. Just get your gutters covered. Now, Gutter Cap is running an excellent deal, and I'm telling you, without exaggeration, this is the superior product when it comes to gutter covers. Their product is patented. They came up with a concept of a one-piece all-aluminum system. They actually produce it on your property when they get there, and it keeps the crap out of your house, out of your gutters. It just works. It's Gutter Cap of Birmingham. They're running 45% off right now at Gutter Cap. Don't get them confused. A lot of companies that sound like Gutter Cap. There's only one Gutter Cap. So reach out to them. It's guttercapbirmingham.com. Let them come over there, clean those gutters for once and for all for this season. Look, your gutters are going to need to move maybe 2 or 3 inches of rain off your house come Friday night and Saturday. I don't know how quickly they can get this done for you because we're close to that window. But when they're clogged, they're not moving that water, and then you got all kind of other problems on your house. Let Gutter Cap come and fix that for you, and you're not having to think about it again. It's Gutter Cap Birmingham, 45% off, guttercapbirmingham.com. All right, y'all. This is a really good time of the year to put a pool in. I mean, nowadays, especially the way Distinctive Pools builds pools, you can enjoy your pool all year. So I guess there's no real terrible time. But during the winter season, during the downtime, they can come out and get this knocked out by the time the weather gets warm and gets nice, and we finally get the sun back out more than a day. And you'll have something beautiful. The way Distinctive builds, because you're dealing with master pool builders, and Gary Levesque and his team, these guys are hardscape experts, and they can build out the whole space. So not only is it usable all year, but it looks like it fits on your home. Now, with my real estate experience, I'm just going to tell you, if you're going to do a cheap pool or a less attractive pool or do something on the side, just don't do it. Don't do a pool on your house if it's not going to look like it belongs on the house. It will become a deterrent to some people if you ever want to put the house on the market. But if you do it right, it's an asset. It's the picture you will show when you try to market your home when you sell it. If you do it right, if it looks like it fits and it flows, and that's what they specialize in at Distinctive Pools. They've got companies sitting around waiting to help you get this project financed, and Gary's going to come out and his team will get you a design and then a budget and a dream, and you can go and have this thing ready to go for your family before the grandkids come back over the next time. They'll love it. It's distinctivepools.com, distinctivepools.com. Y'all reach out and let them take a look at whatever project you're dreaming about right now. All right, we've got enough sources on this. I assume this is going to be the correct identity. We've seen you have to slow yourself when you're keeping up with the news through the speed of the internet. But the woman that was shot by the ICE agents today has been identified as Renee Good. She has she/her pronouns and a little gay flag in her bio. I don't know how she likes to spend her Saturday nights, but I'm just describing her bio as has been presented on social media. I don't know much else to say about her other than she made an extremely foolish mistake. She got mental and got herself killed trying to run over ICE agents with this crazy protest. And by the way, the protesters themselves appears still to be amping up and multiplying in volume in different parts of Minneapolis. And it's your guess or my guess, anybody's guess as to if they're really going to throw down tonight or not. We'll just keep watching it. We've still got another hour or so to go. Let's go to our buddy Henry and get him in here. Henry, we got about 5 minutes. Go, man.
Burn every minute. All right.
Yeah.
You know, when you see the Iranian citizens real uprising like they are against the mullahs, you know, you really got to dig deep for some novel ideas, thinking outside of the box. I have one idea. I think I know it's new, it's unproven, but I think we ought to get a couple of wooden pallets and get about $6 billion from Ilhan Omar and put that money on the pallets and drop it off for the mullahs and see if they can't help the citizens be more free. And maybe even restart the nuclear program, you know, and they can join the rest of the world in, you know, in humanity. And, you know, it's just a novel idea. Maybe I'm thinking too far outside the box. But now, serious though, Leland.
Yeah.
When the Chinese went in and they took over Hong Kong like they did, is probably one of the only times I was a little bit upset with President Trump, because I really wanted him to do something that would at least make the Chinese recognize if they go into Taiwan, it'll be even harder. You know, that would have been a good future something
well,
to set.
Here's what the Chinese know. When we decide to do something right now, we don't just talk and are not capable of backing it up. We did that today. The Russians told us to stay away from that oil tanker. We just went and got the oil tanker. We didn't care. That was part of the round up all the sanctioned oil and get it back under control. So we're doing this and told the Russians to pound sand. The Chinese, part of what happened yesterday, let's go back to Venezuela for a minute. One of the storylines coming out of that action that we took is the utter failure of the air defense systems that were supplied and designed by both the Chinese and the Russians.
You won't believe this. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Well, really,
unbelievable.
We're
This
just
is
on the
weird.
same page, man. That failure exposed, it has forced recalculations. I've been reading some military experts today on this. It has
Giant
forced
weakness.
a giant hole in air defense systems all over the world. These same systems are deployed all over the world, and the Chinese love to bluff and pretend they're making a more quality product. They do that with cheap rubber doo-doo that they ship here, that it's the best doo-doo, but it's terrible doo-doo. It's not like the old 80s Spencer's Gifts novelty doo-doo. That was way better doo-doo. But these guys, they really have bluffed the world with their defense systems, and they even defend a lot of their assets. And it was like it wasn't there, and they just got embarrassed and exposed. And it changes military calculations over future events, including Taiwan, if their systems aren't up to snuff and they're faking it.
Yeah. You know, Leland, one thing that really excites me about the Chinese failures is that the F-35 may not even be able to fire a shot if it ever gets put in combat. You know, that's the one thing about a communist. A communist must copy and steal other people's knowledge and equipment and the things that they invent. They have to steal that.
Hey, if you're in a commie country, why invent anything if you can't keep the profit from it? So they don't invent anything.
Exactly.
They just don't.
That's exactly. Okay.
All right. Got to run, bro.
Leland.
See you there. There's Henry with his contribution tonight. Here's the top of the hour news, Leland Live.